Eryndor Vale had always believed the world was predictable, that every step had meaning and every path had end, until the ground beneath him shimmered, and the air itself seemed to hum with secrets. One moment he was walking through a familiar forest. The next, he stood in a realm of impossible beauty, rivers that glowed like molten silver, trees that whispered his name, and shadows that moved with intent. And then he saw her, an ethereal figure whose eyes promised love, yet radiated a danger he could not name. In the Faewild, nothing was real, yet everything felt unbearably true. How do you trust a heart when even reality is lying? Eryndor Vale had always believed the world followed rules, that every shadow had its source, every whisper a reason. But the moment he crossed the threshold of that hidden grove, the rules unraveled like threads in a dream. Light no longer fell gently, it danced in ribbons of sapphire and gold, bending and breaking as if the air itself were breathing. The trees shimmered faintly, their leaves alive with secrets, trembling as though they had seen him coming long before he arrived. Beneath his boots, the earth pulsed like a heartbeat, soft and yielding yet unyielding, carrying him forward with quiet insistence. A scent wrapped around him, honey and rain, smoke and something undefinable, ancient and urgent. Each inhale felt like a gamble, as if the very act of breathing here might tip the balance between wonder and peril. Then came the river, a silver ribbon winding impossibly through the forest, reflecting skies caught between sunrise and midnight. Its waters moved with a rhythm not bound by time, singing a soft melody that tugged at memory and longing alike. Flowers of colors that defied naming leaned toward him, their petals quivering with awareness, each a tiny heartbeat in the wild symphony of the Faewild. And then she emerged, as if the world had been waiting for her. She emerged from the glimmering mist, walking as though the air itself bent for her. Her hair shimmered with threads of starlight. Her eyes were impossible, bright as dawn yet deep as shadowed forests, brimming with secrets he could not yet fathom. Time slowed, or perhaps it fractured. Every breath, every thought was hers to hold or shatter. Eryndor's chest tightened. He wanted to step closer, to speak, but his voice felt foreign, weak against the beauty and danger that radiated from her. Who are you?" he managed, the words trembling. Her smile was soft, but it carried weight, the pull of tides unseen. "I am the song the world forgot to hear," she murmured, her voice liquid, spilling into him like water over stone. "And every song has its price." Shadows twisted in the corners of his vision, whispers threading through the leaves like silk and steel. The forest itself seemed alive, watching, waiting, testing his courage, his desire. Every instinct screamed caution, yet every fiber of him ached to follow, to step into the impossible. The river pulsed brighter, glowing like liquid moonlight, and Eryndor realized he had no choice. To remain was ignorance. To turn back was impossible. He drew a deep breath, letting the hum of the world fill him, and stepped fully into the Faewild, a place where hearts could be stolen, truths could lie, and illusions felt more real than reality itself. And in that instant, Eryndor Vale knew nothing, not even love, would ever be the same again. The Faewild breathed around Eryndor, each step a symphony of colors, sounds, and scents that defied reason. Every leaf, every ripple of the river seemed to hum a melody meant only for him. Yet, beneath the beauty, there was a subtle dissonance, a whisper threading through the symphony, reminding him that nothing here was simple, nothing here was true, except the pull he felt toward her. She appeared again, as if drawn by some unseen tide. Her eyes, bright and fathomless, held questions he could not answer, promises he could not verify. "Why do you linger here?" she asked, voice like wind over silver water. "Do you seek truth?" or are you chasing a dream? Eryndor stepped closer, heart quickening. I don't know, he admitted. I only know that I cannot turn away. She smiled, a delicate, teasing curve, and extended her hand. At her touch, the world seemed to shimmer anew. Colors deepened, scents grew richer, and the air hummed with a soft, intoxicating vibration. It was as if she could bend reality with a glance, yet the thrill it gave him was real, or so he hoped. The river beside them began to glow brighter, and from its surface, delicate fey lights rose like fireflies, dancing in a rhythm that made his pulse echo theirs. The Faewild seemed to recognize his desire, to feed it, to twist it, making him question the very nature of his heart. Each laugh, each glance from her felt like a truth, yet the whispering shadows at the edges of his vision suggested otherwise. I must warn you, she said softly, leaning closer, her voice threading into his mind. The Faewild does not grant love freely. It tempts, tests, and takes. Eryndor's hand found hers almost instinctively. The warmth was real. The pulse beneath her skin was real. And yet he could not shake the feeling that with every step he took, he was walking on the edge of an illusion that could shatter everything he thought he knew. They wandered together along winding paths where the trees bent as if bowing to them, where flowers whispered secrets and shadows lingered like silent judges. Conversation flowed between them like silver rivers. Laughter mingled with confessions. Curiosity blended with longing. But always, lurking beneath, was the unspoken question: which of this is real and which is enchantment? As twilight bled into an impossible sky, Eryndor realized something both terrifying and exhilarating. He was falling, not into her arms, but into the Faewild itself. And the deeper he fell, the more intoxicating the danger became. Every heartbeat, every stolen glance, was a thread in a web woven by the forest, by the mysterious figure, by the world itself. And Eryndor Vale, who had never questioned his own heart, began to learn the cruel beauty of desire when reality is a shape-shifting illusion. In that moment, he understood. To find love here was to risk everything: truth, self, even sanity. Yet, even knowing this, he could not let go. The Faewild had changed. What once sang with enchantment now whispered with shadows. The colors that had dazzled Eryndor seemed sharper, almost predatory. The silver river now reflected not light, but fragments of questions, shattered images of himself, of her, of promises he wasn't sure had ever been real. Her presence, once ethereal and tender, now carried an edge, a thrill of danger that made his heart pound in rhythm with the unseen currents of the forest. "Do you trust me, Eryndor?" she asked, voice like wind twisting through autumn leaves. He hesitated. Trust was a thing he had taken for granted in the world he had known, but here, in this shimmering labyrinth of beauty and deceit, trust felt fragile, as if the forest itself could twist it into a lie. I want to," he said finally, "but I do not know if I can." A soft laugh, almost sorrowful, drifted from her lips. "You will learn soon enough." Then came the first fracture. The flowers that had leaned toward him began to shrivel, petals curling in on themselves. The river rippled, and in its silvered surface he saw not her face, but another, a reflection twisted, smiling with a cunning he did not recognize. Shadows stretched across the ground, flickering like specters of forgotten truths. Eryndor's chest tightened. What is happening?" he whispered. She stepped closer, eyes holding both warmth and the chill of a knife edge. "The Faewild does not forgive innocence," she said. "It does not reward naivety. Every feeling you believe to be yours may be borrowed. Every desire may be a trap." His mind spun. Moments of tenderness, their laughter, the stolen glances, The soft brush of her hand suddenly trembled under the weight of doubt. Had any of it been real, or had he been dancing along the edge of a beautifully crafted illusion? The forest pulsed with tension, as if sensing his inner turmoil. Shadows darted among the trees, forming shapes that hinted at betrayals yet to come. Every whisper seemed to ask the same question: how much are you willing to risk for something that might not exist? And then the choice was forced upon him. A sudden rift opened in the path, revealing a mirror-like pond. Its surface shimmered with impossible clarity, showing him visions of his own heart, of love, desire, vulnerability, and of her not as the being he thought he knew, but as something other, something dangerous, beautiful, and unattainable. He stumbled back, heart pounding, realizing the truth. The Faewild was not merely a place of wonder, it was a test. And in tests of the heart, betrayal is often hidden in beauty, and danger is wrapped in desire. Eryndor Vale's hands clenched at his sides. His soul screamed with longing, with fear, with the ache of the unknown. He understood, then, the cost of falling in love in a world where reality could lie, and that cost might demand more than he was ready to pay. Yet even as doubt clawed at him, a single truth remained undeniable. He could not turn away. The Faewild waited, patient, dangerous, and intoxicating, knowing that the next choice he made could bind him forever, or shatter everything he thought he cherished. The Faewild held its breath. Every leaf, every ripple of silvered river, every whispering shadow seemed to lean toward Eryndor, waiting for his next move. The weight of doubt, of betrayal, of impossible beauty pressed upon him, but so did a deeper truth. Somewhere beneath all illusions, something real pulsed, calling him forward. She appeared again, emerging from the mist like a fragment of moonlight. But now, the danger in her eyes was tempered with vulnerability, a glimpse of the being beneath the enchantment. "Eryndor," she whispered, voice trembling like wind through hollow trees. "You have felt the lies, the illusions, the temptations. Yet here you stand. Why?" He stepped closer, feeling the pull of both fear and desire. "Because," he said slowly, his voice steady despite the storm in his chest, "even in a world of lies, some truths, some feelings feel undeniable. I don't know what is magic and what is real, but I know this: I cannot walk away from what my heart recognizes." The air shimmered violently, the trees bending as if caught in a tempest, the river's silver boiling with energy. The Faewild tested him one final time, conjuring visions of betrayal, heartbreak, and loss, all designed to turn him from the path. Shadows stretched long, whispering that to reach love, he must sacrifice certainty, control, even himself. But Eryndor Vale took a deep breath and reached for her, not the illusion, not the fantasy, but the essence that lay beneath. His hands found hers, warm, real, trembling with the vulnerability that no magic could fabricate. The forest erupted in light, the illusions fractured like shattered glass, revealing the Faewild's raw, untamed beauty, its wonder, its danger, its eternal truth. And in that luminous moment, Eryndor and the ethereal figure, now more real, more herself, stood together, hearts beating not as trickery, but as genuine, defiant connection. She smiled, not as a temptress, not as an enigma, but as a being capable of real feeling. And for the first time, the shadows did not frighten him. They receded. "You have chosen wisely," she murmured, voice soft as starlight. "Love is rare here. Few can see it through the fog of deceit." Eryndor let himself feel the depth of the Faewild's truth. He had fallen, yes, but into something real, beyond illusion, beyond fear. And in that fall, he discovered the extraordinary. A love that was courageous, unwavering, and beyond the ordinary. As he gazed at her, the river shimmered one last time, reflecting not the impossible illusions of the forest, but a world where beauty, danger, and love could coexist, where hearts could be trusted, and where the extraordinary was not just magic, it was choice. Eryndor Vale stepped forward, hand in hers, into the unknown, ready to embrace a love tested by the impossible and forged in the heart of the Faewild itself. The Faewild settled around Eryndor like a living memory, its rivers glimmering, its trees whispering secrets older than time. Yet the shadows no longer haunted him. They had become part of a tapestry he could now read with understanding. Every step he had taken, every doubt he had faced, had led him here, not to certainty, but to truth in its most extraordinary form. She stood beside him, radiant, a creature of light and mystery, yet undeniably real. Their hands entwined, and in that grasp, Eryndor felt the impossible made tangible. Love forged not by magic, but by courage, by choice, by the willingness to see beyond illusion. The wind carried the Faewild's song, a melody both haunting and hopeful. "We are part of this world," she whispered, "yet it does not own us. We carry it in our hearts, and it will carry us forward." Eryndor closed his eyes, letting the sounds, the colors, the whispers settle into him. For the first time, he did not fear the unknown. He embraced it. The Faewild had tested him, tempted him, challenged him, but it had also shown him what it means to love without hesitation, to trust without certainty, and to live beyond the ordinary. And as the twilight deepened into a sky of impossible stars, he understood something eternal. The Faewild would always be there, hidden in shadows and light, in moments of wonder and danger. But the choice to step into the extraordinary was his, and his alone. Some hearts are meant to wander. Some worlds are meant to challenge everything you know. The Faewild is such a place, a realm where beauty masks danger, where love can be both trap and treasure, and where reality itself dances on the edge of imagination. Eryndor Vale stepped forward, hand in hers, not knowing what awaited, yet unafraid, for he had learned the truth that every seeker must discover. The extraordinary is not only found in magic, but in the courage to love, to trust, and to embrace what lies beyond the ordinary. And in that moment, the Faewild whispered its final secret, that even in a world of illusions, hearts can shine brighter than the most radiant magic, and those who dare to follow them will never see the world the same way again.